$35 million went back after the Federal Trade Commission said Shutterstock sold creators a checkout that said no commitment. Picture the normal version of that moment. A freelance designer is up late on a Tuesday, trying to finish one client asset before morning. She does not want a giant creative suite. She does not want a long contract. She needs a few images, maybe one music cue, maybe one video clip, and the button makes the whole thing feel clean. No commitment. That is the doorway. One small project on one side. Years of cancellation complaints on the other. One phrase at checkout. A $35 million settlement after the Federal Trade Commission said the exit was not as simple as the entry. The useful question is not only, did Shutterstock do something wrong? The useful question is, what would you save before clicking buy if the exit later became the expensive part? By the end of this, you should have a calmer subscription exit file, screenshots to capture, renewal dates to calendar, cancellation proof to keep, and the official refund route to watch without getting pulled into scammy refund bait. This is not a story about never subscribing. It is a story about making the exit visible before the first charge ever lands. The strongest version of this story does not start in a courtroom. It starts with one small project. A creator, a marketer, a student, a local business owner, a church volunteer, a real estate agent, a YouTuber, a designer doing client work after dinner. They need assets quickly. They search for stock photos, click into a marketplace, and see options that sound close but behave very differently. Monthly plans, annual paid monthly plans, annual paid upfront plans, and on-demand packs. The on-demand pack feels like the clean one. It sounds built for a one-time job. Buy the pack, download the assets, move on. The Federal Trade Commission's complaint says Shutterstock advertised on-demand packs as best for a one-time project and used no commitment style messaging. The complaint then alleges the company did not adequately disclose automatic refill when the last download was used, and until early 2024 automatic renewal after 1 year. Keep the word alleges in the frame. We are not inventing a named customer, and we are not pretending every sentence has already been tested as a final court finding. The case was pending on the Federal Trade Commission case page when the research was reviewed on May 15, 2026. But as a money pattern, this is painfully familiar. The customer thinks they are buying an asset. The business may also be selling a renewal relationship. At checkout, it feels like a project expense. Later, on the card statement, it feels like a surprise. That surprise is where people lose the thread. They search old emails. They try to remember whether the pack expired. They ask whether the charge came from a refill, a renewal, or a plan that was annual the whole time. And if life is busy enough, the easiest answer becomes, I will fix it later. Later is where recurring charges survive. The bright move is not paranoia. It is treating the first checkout like the beginning of the cancellation record. Before the first download, save the promise, save the price, save the renewal language, save any cancellation fee language, save the date when money could move again. The exit starts at sign-up. Here is the case carefully. On May 13, 2026, the Federal Trade Commission announced that Shutterstock would pay $35 million to settle allegations over subscription and cancellation practices. The proposed order includes a $35 million monetary judgment and requires customer information sufficient for the Federal Trade Commission to administer consumer redress. That does not mean every viewer can file a Shutterstock refund claim today. The Federal Trade Commission refund page did not list a Shutterstock-specific refund program when the research was checked. It also does not mean Shutterstock admitted every allegation. The company had previously disclosed in its 2025 Form 10-K that it received an August 2024 civil investigative demand about disclosure, subscription enrollment, and cancellation practices, and said it cooperated throughout the investigation. So the honest version is this: a current Federal Trade Commission case turned checkout language, renewal terms, cancellation friction, and consumer proof into a $35 million settlement. That is why it belongs on a personal finance channel. A normal person sees a charge and thinks, maybe I missed something. A regulator looks at thousands of similar moments and asks whether the design made missing something more likely. The complaint points to two big categories. First, the customer allegedly did not always receive clear, unavoidable disclosure before billing information was collected. Automatic renewal, cancellation fee amounts, how long a plan lasted, when recurring charges would start. Second, the customer allegedly had to deal with cancellation friction, phone, chat, email, and online flows that could be confusing, time-consuming, or expensive to use. The emotional version is simpler. The first yes was easy. The later no was harder. That does not make every subscription bad. It does not make every annual plan suspicious. It means your household rule has to be more precise than the checkout page asks you to be. The phrase behind this whole category is negative option. It sounds like legal plumbing, but the everyday version is simple. If you do nothing, the company treats your silence, inaction, or failure to cancel as permission to charge you. That model can be legitimate. A streaming service renewing monthly is not automatically a scandal. Cloud storage charging every month can be useful. A professional software subscription can be worth every dollar if it helps you earn. The problem starts when consent is not clear enough, renewal is not visible enough, or cancellation takes more work than sign up. This is where people use the wrong test. They ask, can I afford the monthly amount? For negative option products, the sharper question is, can I see the future charge and stop it without a scavenger hunt? Because the leak is not only the monthly price, it is the attention cost wrapped around that price. The Federal Trade Commission's broader 2026 negative option materials said the Commission continued to receive thousands of complaints each year, including more than 100,000 complaints in the past 5 years about negative options and related practices. That number matters because this is not just one stock image website or one forgetful customer. It is a business model colliding with human attention. You are not weak because you dislike digging through account settings. You are not irresponsible because a plan renewed during a busy month. You are living in a market where many products are optimized for a quick yes and a delayed no. The relief comes from reversing the order. Do not wait for the surprise charge to make you investigate. Investigate for 60 seconds before the first charge becomes a relationship. The proposed order is useful because it reads like a viewer checklist. Before collecting billing information and consent, the order requires clear disclosure of the amount or range of recurring charges, how often they happen, the deadline to stop future charges, any cancellation fee and its amount or range, and how to stop recurring charges. Put that into ordinary language. Before you type a card number, you want 5 answers. What am I paying today? What can charge again later? When exactly can it charge again? What does it cost to leave early? Where is the off switch? That is the checkout test. Not because every checkout is trying to trick you. Because these 5 answers tell you whether you are buying a thing or entering a payment relationship. That distinction matters most for creative tools, software suites, stock assets, resume builders, PDF tools, AI tools, meal plans, fitness apps, phone add-ons, cloud storage, premium memberships, and business services. These are often bought under pressure. You need the project done. You want the file converted. You want the image licensed. You want the trial, because the full annual price feels too big. Pressure makes future terms feel like clutter. A good checkout handles that by making future terms obvious. A bad checkout benefits from your focus being elsewhere. So the behavior change is small. Create a checkout screenshot before the purchase, not after the problem. Capture the headline promise. Capture the price. Capture the renewal line. Capture the cancellation fee line. Capture anything that sounds like no commitment, one time, annual, monthly, refill, Renew, trial, or cancel anytime. Then put a calendar reminder on the first date money can move again. This is boring, which is exactly the tone you want. The screenshot does not argue. The calendar does not panic. The folder does not forget. Anger is a weak filing system. Evidence is a strong one. Now, zoom into the on-demand pack, because this is the most useful everyday example. The complaint says Shutterstock offered on-demand packs with prices ranging from $29 to $2,669, depending on the number and type of assets. A 2-image pack is one kind of decision. A 25-video enhanced license pack is another. But psychologically, both can still feel like a project purchase instead of a subscription relationship. That is why no commitment has power. A customer hears it and may translate it as, I am not entering a long-term obligation. I am buying what I need and leaving when the project is done. The Federal Trade Commission alleged that the automatic refill after the last download was not adequately disclosed. It also alleged that until early 2024, annual renewal after 1 year was not adequately disclosed for on-demand packs. That gives us a household rule for any usage-based pack. If the product refills after use, the last use is not just usage. It may be a billing trigger. This goes beyond stock assets. Think credits, tokens, image generations, background checks, document sends, appointment packages, class packs, download bundles, print credits, cloud credits, or prepaid service units. The moment a product uses units, you need to know what happens when the unit count reaches 0. Does it stop? Does it refill? Does it renew next month? Does it expire? Does unused value vanish? Does using the final credit trigger another payment? If you cannot answer those questions in 1 minute, the product is asking you to buy complexity on trust. Sometimes that trust is earned. Sometimes it is not. But you should not discover the billing rule by reading your statement after the project is already finished. The practical move is one line in the exit file. What happens at 0? For a pack, that question may matter more than the first price. The second mechanism is annual paid monthly. That phrase is easy to underestimate because the monthly price is what your brain grabs. $29 per month, $49 per month, $199 per month. A monthly number feels like a monthly choice, but annual paid monthly can mean a yearly commitment with monthly installments. The Federal Trade Commission complaint alleges that Shutterstock's annual paid monthly checkout frequently failed to clearly disclose automatic renewal, early cancellation fees, and fee amounts before collecting billing information. The complaint also says the current early cancellation fee could equal 50% of the remaining subscription cost and vary from $29 to thousands of dollars, depending on the subscription. Again, keep alleges attached to the complaint details. The consumer lesson is broader. Monthly payment and monthly commitment are not the same thing. That sentence can save real money. A car loan has monthly payments, but you entered a longer obligation. A phone financing plan has monthly payments, but the device cost exists behind them. Some software and creator tools use a similar emotional structure without always making it feel as serious. They show the manageable monthly number. The commitment lives in the term, so your checkout file needs one more line. Is this monthly service or annual service paid monthly? If it is annual paid monthly, ask what happens if you leave after 2 months. If the answer is a fee, save the fee language. If the answer is unclear, that uncertainty is itself information. The bright relief rule is not, never pick annual paid monthly. Sometimes it is the right plan for a business tool you will use. The rule is, do not let monthly presentation hide annual obligation. If the commitment is yearly, your calendar should treat it like a yearly commitment. A monthly looking price does not deserve monthly looking attention. Now the cancellation path. The complaint alleges that Shutterstock's online annual paid monthly cancellation process, introduced in January 2024, required at least 8 screens and 10 clicks if the consumer made every correct choice. That phrase, every correct choice, is doing a lot of work. A cancellation flow can be technically available and still be tiring. It can be online and still feel like a maze. It can have a correct path and still punish the person who clicks the wrong neutral-looking button. The complaint also includes support channel friction allegations. It cites an average call abandonment rate of 21.1% from June 2023 to July 2024, an average chat abandonment rate of 13.34% from September 2023 to August 2024, and a median chat resolution time of over 11 minutes during that September 2023 to August 2024 period. Do not hear those as random statistics. Hear ordinary evenings. Someone starts canceling between dinner and bed. Someone opens chat before a meeting. Someone calls during lunch. Someone waits, gets interrupted, loses the thread, and the next charge survives. That is why the better cancellation routine has a timer. When you start a cancellation, treat it like a small admin task with a beginning and an end. Open the exit file. Start a timer for 15 minutes. Screenshot each major step. If the flow offers phone, chat, or email, save the transcript or confirmation. If a page says you cannot cancel online, capture it. If cancellation completes, save the final proof. If it does not complete, write down the failure in plain language. That sounds excessive until the day you need it. Proof created during calm frustration is stronger than memory reconstructed during a billing dispute. A cancellation maze wins when it turns your confusion into silence. Your exit file turns confusion into a timeline. The most useful part of the proposed order is not the legal drama. It is the standard it describes. Under the proposed order, cancellation mechanisms cannot be difficult, costly, confusing, or time-consuming, and they must be at least as easy to use as the method used to consent. That is the sentence I would turn into a household standard. If I can join online, I should be able to leave online. If sign-up takes 2 minutes, cancellation should not take 20. If a company takes my card through a website, it should not force me into a hidden phone line to stop future charges. If the checkout uses plain language to sell the benefit, the cancellation page should use plain language to explain the exit. This standard will not solve every situation instantly. It is not legal advice. It is a sanity check. When something feels off, compare the entry path with the exit path. How many steps to say yes? How many steps to say no? How visible was the price before payment? How visible is the confirmation after cancellation? Could a normal tired person understand both paths without studying the page? This comparison is powerful because it moves you out of shame instead of, why am I so bad at canceling? You ask, why was canceling designed with more drag than joining? That question is calmer. It is also more accurate. It helps you decide when to escalate. If the company clearly disclosed the terms, sent renewal notices, gave a simple cancellation path, and you missed a reminder, the fix may simply be a better household calendar. If the promise, consent, renewal, fee, or exit path did not match what you were shown, your proof folder becomes more useful. The order becomes a mirror. It shows what a fair recurring payment flow should feel like. Visible terms, informed consent, simple exit, and records that do not require detective work. Refunds need their own rule, because refund attention attracts scams. For this Shutterstock case, do not assume a claim form exists just because a settlement was announced. The Federal Trade Commission refund programs page is the place to watch, and the agency's general refund guidance is clear. The Federal Trade Commission never demands money, makes threats, tells people to transfer money, or promises prizes. If someone says you have to pay a fee, send crypto, buy a gift card, move money, or reveal a password to receive a Federal Trade Commission refund, that is not a refund path. That is the next problem. For your own subscriptions, the escalation order should stay calm. First, stop future charges if you can. Cancel, turn off refill, turn off renewal, or downgrade before the next billing date. Second, gather the record. Check out screenshot, receipt, renewal notice, cancellation attempt, confirmation email, chat transcript, statement line, and the date you first tried to stop the charge. Third, contact the company through the official account page or support channel, not a search ad that looks official. Fourth, if the charge appears unauthorized, duplicated, or inconsistent with what you saved, contact your card issuer or bank through the official app or the number on the card. Fifth, if the pattern looks deceptive or unfair, report it through the official complaint path, such as the Federal Trade Commission's official report fraud website for Federal Trade Commission complaints. None of this guarantees a refund. That matters. A refund is not magic, and a chargeback is not a cheat code, but it gives you the strongest version of the truth: dates, screenshots, terms, attempts, and confirmations. The boring record keeps the story from turning into your word against the billing system. That is the part I did not appreciate enough until researching these cases. I used to think the fight started after the bad charge. Often, it starts before the first charge, with whether you kept the terms that were shown to you. So here is the actual system. For every recurring purchase, make a tiny exit file. It can be an email folder, a note app page, a cloud folder, or a screenshot album on your phone. The file has 7 items. 1. The promise that made you buy. No commitment. Cancel anytime, one-time project, free trial, annual discount, professional plan, whatever language mattered. 2. The billing terms. Price, frequency, renewal date, refill trigger, annual term, cancellation fee, and trial end date. 3. The receipt or confirmation email. 4. The first calendar reminder, usually a week before trial end, 30 days before annual renewal, or the day before a refill threshold if usage triggers billing. 5. The cancellation path. The page, menu, email, phone number, or support channel that appears to stop the charge. 6. The final cancellation proof when you leave. 7. The next statement verification. Did the charge actually stop? That is it. This is not a budget spreadsheet. It is not a moral inventory. It is a small file for future you. The file works because it accepts how real life feels. You will not remember every term. You will not calmly reconstruct a checkout from 9 months ago. You will not always have time to sit in support chat twice. So the file carries the memory for you. And it changes how you shop. Once you know you have to save the exit, you notice when a checkout makes the exit hard to find. You notice when the renewal date is missing. You notice when a discount sounds large, but the cancellation fee is vague. You notice when one time and refill sit too close together. The act of filing makes you a better buyer, not a more anxious buyer, a clearer one. You still get the tools you need. You still buy assets, subscribe to software, use memberships, take trials, and pay for services that make work easier. You just stop giving companies free access to your future attention. The counterweight matters. A good subscription is allowed to stay. This video should not send you into a cancellation spree that makes your life harder. A stock asset plan can be worth it for a working designer. A software subscription can be worth it for a freelancer. Cloud storage can be worth it if it protects family photos and work files. A delivery membership can be worth it if it saves more than it costs. A learning app, news subscription, gym, meal service, or professional tool can be worth it if it changes your actual week. The test is current value. Ask 4 questions. Did I use it in the last 30 days? Would I notice within 7 days if it disappeared? Does it save time, protect work, reduce stress, create joy, improve health, or help me earn? If I had to sign up again today with the full terms visible, would I still click buy? That last question is the clean one. Many subscriptions survive because canceling feels like an action, and keeping feels like no action. Asking whether you would buy again turns keeping into an active decision. If the answer is yes, keep it without guilt. If the answer is seasonal, pause it or calendar the next useful month. If the answer is no, cancel and verify. If the answer is, I do not even know what this is, Investigate before the next charge. The point is not to spend the least money possible. The point is to stop spending money that no longer has a job. That creates room for spending that actually helps. This is why the Shutterstock story can stay bright instead of depressing. The same details that made the case serious also give viewers a tool. Visible terms, informed consent, easier cancellation, and proof that organized customers are not powerless. A recurring charge should keep earning renewal. If it does, fine. If it does not, your exit file is ready. Shutterstock is the anchor because the facts are current, concrete, and strangely ordinary. A creator needs assets. A checkout says no commitment. A product has renewal and refill rules. A cancellation path consumes attention. A regulator turns those details into a $35 million settlement. But the lesson should not be fear. Fear makes you avoid statements. Avoiding statements protects bad subscriptions. The better ending is maintenance. When a checkout sells convenience, save the exit. When a product uses credits or downloads, ask what happens at zero. When a monthly price appears, ask whether the commitment is monthly too. When a cancellation path gets annoying, screenshot the path instead of trusting memory. When a refund story appears, use official sources and never pay money to get money. That is the whole playbook. No commitment should mean something. Cancel anytime should mean something. One-time project should mean something. If those phrases are true, your exit file will sit there unused. If they are not, the file becomes leverage. The calmest consumer is not the person who never subscribes. It is the person who can leave cleanly. So keep the tools that earn their place. Cancel the ones that coast. Save the proof before you need it. Calendar the date before the renewal surprises you. Verify the next statement before the charge becomes background noise. Your attention is part of the price. Spend it before the company spends it for you.